Hello everybody, Saints Row. You don't have to be an action game devotee to hear about the Saints Row franchise. In terms of popularity, the games aren't all that many rungs below the GTA. In terms of notoriety, all-out envelope pushing, no stumbling righteousness, Saints Row has always edged out Rockstar series, but the time they are changing. Brand sizing oversized sex toys as weapons, as using crude and starting point doesn't cut it anymore. So in the spirit of these more enlightened times, Volution has rebooted Saints Row. How does this new version of the Saints Row hold up against hilarious, but sometimes embarrassing predecessors? Well, we have the short answer and the wide answer. The short answer is pretty damn good. The long answer, well, that's a little more nuanced and popular by qualities. Volution has started this reboot of the Saints is more grounded in reality. Instead of body snatching aliens and presidents in clone makeup, your squad is a nerdy MBA named Ellie, a shirtless brawler DJ named Kevin, Nina, and Latin X, Reckon, and Ace Driver, and you, the boss, a one-time paramilitary soldier and weapon expert. The backstories and the problems are down to earth are relatable, like playing off student debt or trying to make a success out of a new startup company that's venture in the Saints. You're newly forming a gang. The Saints are a part of social media, brand, part real estate, Tysons, and still largely an ambitious criminal enterprise. Saints Row newly minted, realistic approach to characters that the narrative doesn't always do a great job of avoiding cliches or trying too hard to mirror Me Too social media savvy, irony-fueled culture of a Gen Z protagonist. That realism can also like a mismatch with the game's still ridiculous action. Sure, Ellie listens to motivational tapes and tracks the Saints' corporate progress on a whiteboard, but the bullet sponge enemies still take repeated headshots to bring them down. Your character glides around Santo Lesso in a wingsuit and drops grenades down of trousers or foes. Though the character feels like a real people in a real world, nah, they feel like the video game constructs, but mostly likable enough. Forget Stillwater and Steelport from the each Saints Row game. For the new reboot, the Saints have moved house to make massive new city called Santo Lesso. It's cross between Las Vegas, Albuquerque, and a hand of other Southwest landmarks. While it does have upscale finances hub with towering skyscrapers, the 9 districts of Santo Lesso make use of wide open spaces of the western landscape. It might not boast the largest downtown at any open world game, but overall the map is immense and nearly always interesting to explore. So like the character, Santo Lesso is a patchwork of reality and ideas copied from the other games. Still, the open world of Saints Row is probably a standout feature. Except its small doubts. Santo Lesso is too big to enable on foot, so as you complete main and side missions, you have access to a huge variety of cars, boats, bikes, trucks, tanks, hovercraft, jet skis, helicopters, wingsuits, and even whenever you can steal. They all control pretty well, and game does a good job of pointing you to the mission objects. You don't need to waste time hunting down the next stop along the mission's route, and getting there is half a fun. The game rewards you most reckless driving imaginable. Cars restore themselves in your garage no matter how beat down they get. Your crib can become a holder's dream, and the vehicles can be infinitely customized. Actually, the appearance of just about everything from the guns and rides to your character can be changed up, and new skins and options are unlocked. Saints Row has always had a pretty robing character creator, and this is one of definitely the most detailed. Unlike some games, are you listening, Cyberpunk 2077? Saints Row blurs out the naughty bits, but aside from that, anything goes. It's obsessively fun to keep swapping looks and voices through. Of course, the rest of the characters never acknowledged ever your mouth outlash appearances. Santo Lesso has a ton of shops selling spirituality, clothes, and weapons. There are even a street stall selling Volution branded merch. These factions control Santolesso. There is a military-style secure force called Martial Defense Industries, the Calcorcha, and the fitness-obsessed Los Panteros. And the idols are ever anarchist fractions trying to stick in the man while co-opting social media as the many high-tech toys as possible. The Saints connections to and conflicts with all the factions are they rise to power from the heart of campaign. As the boss, you and your fellow Saints' goal is to take over Santolesso. You all play one of faction against another, but mostly you'll wage war against them all. Broad strokes, most of the campaign's multi-part mission end with protectorate fights. They often include driving sequences with some smaller battles along the way. You fight a lot of the same enemy types for each faction, but at least the different gangs have unique approaches and weapons. Either the Saints have poor conflict resolution skills or the developers lack imagination, because the main missions get pretty repetitive. In part this comes from the scripted puzzle-like nature of the shouts. Aside from weapons section, there are a few ways to be creative. You just shoot until everyone is dead, playing by whatever rules the mission is built on. Having more freedom to approach each firefight by way you feed definitely reduce the fatigue factor. It will also help if you few fellas faction members actually contribute. Most of the time they don't do much. Unlike some open world games, Saints Row main campaign isn't really optional, at least for the several hours in. The campaign opens up the world, adds useful apps to your phone, and lays the foundation for exploring Santolesso. Aside from the campaign, Saints Row is absolutely committed to making sure you're never without something to do. There are dozens of hours of bite-sized content aimed at short attention spans. You can do quick challenges for cash, XP, and gear. You can hunt for wanted criminals in various districts. The main side missions involve clearing out enemy gangs and establishing legit-looking front for criminal enterprises. Do enough of these, you claim new districts for the Saints. If nothing else, you can ride around Santolesso looking for treasure and any trouble. In terms of its open world design, Saints Row feels pretty old school. The map is dense with the icons. Unfortunately, sometimes the trouble can come in front serious technical issues. All worlds have junk, and the Saints Row franchise is legendary for it. There is usual stuff like weird visual anomalies clipping the cameras and the gateway. More problematic are bugs like mission checkpoints that don't reload but instead crash the game, or characters that get stuck in animation that stalls a mission and requires a restart. There were 3 or 4 some missions I had to replay multiple times due to bugs and crashes. There are also some significant frame slowdowns in multi-vehicle sequences. Saints Row is an ambitious reboot of the popular franchise. It's world open, expansive, and entertaining to explore. The game rewards you for most everything, so your time is never wasted. Unfortunately, the main campaign is a little less successful, often failing back on repetitive action, gunplay, and set pieces go too long. Despite some tech issues in consistent mission designs, that's kinda gentler incarnation of Saints Row is probably a step in the right direction. Thanks.